time to spill the tea. I'm gonna drop this. It's hot. Okay, let's get into it. I'm gonna put you there, darling. So, hi guys, today we are getting into water moon signs. So, unless you've seen my Scorpio moon video or the fire moon video, if I post that before this one, not sure. I'm gonna explain to you what a moon is in astrology. In astrology, we talk about the big three, and those are three very big and important placements in your chart. Your whole chart matters in all kinds of senses in your life, but your sun, your moon, and rising is kind of what makes up your personality. Who you are, how you represent yourself, how the world sees you, how you view the world, how your emotional nature is, and everything. And your moon sign is your emotional nature. So, your moon sign basically describes how you react towards things emotionally, who you are emotionally, and what you need emotionally, and how you respond to things emotionally. It talks a lot about what kind of element your emotions is in, so they can be in an air element, a fire element, a water element, or a stone element, I was gonna say, earth element. But it totally depends on synastry and other placements as well, whether you have influence from other elements. But you always have a ground element, and today we're going to talk about the water moons. So if you're a Cancer or a Pisces moon, this is a video for you. If you're a Scorpio moon, I've already recorded your video, and you can check the link in the description below. All the info about Scorpio moons is in that video, and I'm really going into depth about it because it's a very special placement. All of the water signs are quite special when it comes to the moon. So they are very sensitive, they are very emotional, they have a nature that is... I don't really know how to describe it in a good way because it is sensitive, but I'm not gonna say that being sensitive is a bad thing, because it isn't. We are living in a world where it is considered a bad thing, a negative thing for the whole societal wheel. And water moons are sensitive in a good way, but they also have a thing within themselves that is quite in a negative way, which I'm getting to. Okay, so Cancer moon. Cancer moon is the natural placement of the moon. The moon is the natural ruler of Cancer, so having Cancer in the moon means that you have it in its natural placement. This makes the energy very, very strong. All the water moons in general have a really big tendency and ability, I would say, a big ability to manifest, and that comes to emotions or situations or whatever. So it is really important for Cancer moon kind of people, especially, to be focusing on optimistic things, on good things, so that they will be I cannot say that word. Every time I do these videos, I'm trying to say that word, so that they will be multiplied, so that they will be manifested more into their life. And it's a very sensitive manifestation process, because it kind of happens immediately, you know. In that kind of a way, a Cancer moon is also really good at reading the energy based on where there are energies of other people. They can pick up on really easily, and they can make them into their own energies, just because they focus on that energy, it is being manifested, and then it's being brought into their emotional spectra. So that's one of the things that's really important for a Cancer moon, is to really be mindful of the situations you put yourself in, the environments, the kind of people you are around, your home environment, just anything like that is really important to you, because it is going to affect your emotional nature in a huge way, in a bigger way than any other moon. All of the water moons are very sensitive in such a sense, but the Cancer moon, just because the Cancer and the moon really rules home and family is so important to a Cancer moon, they are very affected by their home situation, their home environment, the geographical environment that they are in, the people that they surround themselves with closely. It's really going to affect you. So be mindful of that, be aware of who you have around you, how they affect you emotionally, and if it's for the good or for the bad, in general. So even though it is a very good placement because it's natural, it is very sensitive in such a sense that it can be hard to kind of understand yourself emotionally. And because it is a very, like, Cancer in general is a very, like, caretaking sign. Cancer moons are very good parents. They are a part of their purpose is kind of to be on this planet to take care of people. So one of their biggest reasons for being kind of incarnated in that sign is that they are meant to be parents, they are meant to be caretakers, they are meant to, if you look at esoteric astrology, they are meant to take the karma from earlier lifetimes, from earlier generations in their family, in this bloodline, their generations parenting skills, because they have been wrong. It's a part of it is that the parenting, the caretaking has not been justified, has not been in the right way, it's not been in a good way for the kids or for the situation or the family in general. So a Cancer moon usually goes through a bit of a hard childhood, in such a sense that they always feel a sense of abandonment, a sense of that they were not rightfully parented in the way that they might have needed to. Depends on other placements, but also if you have a lot of Cancer energy in general, that is the energy that you can pick up on really easily. And it's part of the karma, according to esoteric astrology, which is about karma and soul purpose. It's not tropical astrology that you can like read about on Twitter or Instagram, which is great as well, but there's different levels of depth to different types of astrological viewpoints, you know. So a big theme for Cancer moon is to be a parent and to be part of a family. It's really important that you learn to cook for yourself, clean for yourself. It's going to be really important parts of your healing process through the karma, to learn how to take care and nurture yourself, because you will always have this innate feeling of abandonment, that you were not rightfully parented, and then you're going to need to do it to yourself firsthand. And then when you have mastered that or really learned that and healed through that process, you are supposed to go to your family, or you know, get children and be a parent in any kind of sense and nurture other people. It's very common for Cancer moons also to be like the mom or the dad or the grandma of the friend group. They're very good at parenting and nurturing, kind of in whatever sense they are. It's a very good friend to have for emotional outlets. If you need to let out your emotions, it can be really good to have a Cancer moon around you. They try to just be there for them emotionally, to let them express their feelings in whatever spectral sense that they need to. And a lot of people, that's also what water moons need in general from other people, and that's what Cancer moons need in other people's as well. Even though they like to mom or dad or parent people emotionally and help them, they are also in need of that themselves. But yeah, so they're also probably very connected to the moon and the moon cycles, just because it is the natural placement of the moon, and also because it's a water sign. A Cancer moon person will always benefit from a spiritual practice. All the water moons will, in different kind of senses. A Cancer moon might be feeling really good by having different kinds of crystals for different emotional experiences. Protection crystals when you are in circumstances where you feel like your emotions are gonna kind of not be used in the most positive sense, or crystal for a special day or for a special room in your house, or whatever kind of energy you want in those rooms, because you're very affected by the crystals, and it can work really well for somebody with a Cancer moon to use crystals. So if you're not into crystals or crystal magic or whatever, but you are a Cancer moon, I would definitely recommend you to try to get into that, learn a little bit more about it, and try it out, because it's probably gonna change a lot for you and help you in a lot of ways. Also, it can be very good to like clean off areas in your house where people with a negative sort of energy has been. So like Palo Santo, white sage, or crystals for clearing the energy. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. You can just kind of Google crystals or cleaning your house with sage or whatever. Because of the sensitivity and the abandonment issues, or the feeling of, it's not any really abandonment issues, it's more the feeling of always being abandoned by the people in your life, that's something that makes a person with this placement quite clingy. In general, they can seem very clingy, and they can be very clingy and suffocating to the people around them, because they need a lot of validation. And they need to know that they're needed, they need to be needed. It's a very big emotional need, is to be needed, it's to be able to parent others, to be a caretaker, to be a nurturer. It's really important emotional needs for them. Also, they can be suffocating on others, as I said, but other people can also be suffocating for them if they are not able to really understand their emotional nature and what their true emotion is, because sometimes the people that come into your life can bring an emotion to you, and if you're not very knowledgeable about your emotional patterns or your systems or the fact that you're a Cancer moon, it might be really easy for these people to come in and take that energy out on you, and you may think that energy is yours, but it actually isn't. So in that kind of sense, people can suffocate you emotionally because it's not your emotions that are being the truth of the matter, because you're manifesting the other person's emotion, you know, the manifestation process that I talked about in the beginning. At the same time, a Cancer moon has a really natural way of processing and letting out their emotions. It is going to be emotional, it's going to be sensitive, it's going to be a burst of emotions probably, but it's very natural because it follows the natural rhythm of the moon, which is why, like, during full moon and new moon, you might experience particular emotional things happening according to where, you know, if it is a full moon, maybe letting go, a lot of emotion comes out, a big transition, and then when a new moon, a big new start with positive energy. If you don't know anything about moon manifestation or anything like that, maybe you can try to get into that as well. Spiritual practices of a full moon, rituals and that kind of stuff. Super fun, really interesting, and definitely something you should try out. That's my dog. Oh my god, did you hear that? He's sleeping. He's having a dream. Honey! Shabu! So cute. Wait a second. Yeah, so they would benefit from a spiritual practice. They would benefit from starting to understand their emotional nature, learning how to differ from their emotions and other people's emotions, thinking about what kinds of environments they're in, geographically, household environment or whatever, having a healthy, clean, householdly house, like homely house, is really important. It's a grounding thing for a Cancer moon, so definitely make sure that you have that in some kind of sense. You can also really benefit from any kind of creative expression, as an emotional expression, a way of getting your emotions out, getting into connection with your emotions, because when you're doing a creative process and you're maybe painting or you're dancing or you're singing or whatever, it's really about you and your emotions, and other people are not involved, so then you can kind of really get into connection with your emotions, which is a very important pattern for you. So get into that, try that. You have to take care of your house, but you also have to take care of your body, because an unnurtured body as well as an unnurtured house or unnurtured relationships is going to affect you negatively. And when you are not paying attention to your body, you're not nurturing your own body, it is going to lead to a lot of social anxiety. It's very common with this moon sign to have a lot of social anxiety. And the more you have it, the more it is because you have not been nurturing your body, and your soul and your environments. You don't have that grounding point, and that really is your grounding point for you. Super important, super important. You cannot function well unless you nurture yourself, your home, and your relationships in a very caretaking kind of a way. The moons that you work the best with are other water moons, absolutely other water moons. Also, if there's a person that has a lot of water in their chart, even though their moon is not in a water placement, that would work well as well. Might not benefit from being with another Cancer moon or another Cancer person, because it would just really be too messy emotionally. But they would vibe on the same energy level. But I would say somebody with water in their chart, but maybe not a water moon, or a water moon, but not too much other water placements. Totally depends on what kind of placements you have, but in general, water works with water, but it can also be an excess of water, and you have to be careful of that. You definitely would work well with earth signs just because they're grounding. Water and earth works really well, so those placements worked pretty good. And that was pretty much everything I had to say about you guys. You can check out my other videos. I did a video on more of Cancer energy, all of the zodiac energies, so you can check out more about the Cancer energy if you want to, or you can check out my Instagram, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to me there. I am gonna leave a link to that in the description as well. So I hope you guys like this one, and now over and on to Pisces. So moon in Pisces, I This is also a placement that I really, really like. I really enjoy. It's a very beautiful placement. It's a very good placement for the moon. It's beautiful. I have a square to my moon, my Aries moon, which gives me, and the square is with Neptune, so that gives me a sense of the Pisces moon emotions, the way that their emotions work, and all of that is very tied to another universe. They have a great ability to enjoy life. One of their biggest purposes in life is to find a connection within themselves that makes them enjoy life. They have a special, how should I say it, a special connection with life and death and the ebb and flow of life. For some reason, Neptune ties into the time of things, and usually they go through something that is before Saturn returns, before they turn around 30. All of the moon water signs have a very interesting emotional growth process from being a toddler to their 30s, somewhere there, where they just really have to work on themselves a lot, especially Cancer and Scorpio. Pisces has a little bit of an easier time. It is a better placement for the moon because it isn't as heavy as Cancer moon placement is, and it isn't as deep and intense and turmoil filled as a Scorpio moon is. None of the other placements are bad, but a Pisces moon has a little bit of an easier time. They have a very great ability to flow with other people, to flow with their emotions, to flow with the universe, and to flow with the world. They have a very easy way of accepting other people and their emotional patterns. In a way, a Pisces moon can always have a tendency to be aloof, and not in a sense that an air sign moon would be, because they're always very emotionally connected to the people in their life. But more so being aloof out of the human experiences. It's almost like they become alien, or they are alien. They can form, they can be, it's like they're from another dimension and they tie back to that dimension in an aloof kind of way. They kind of space out very, very deeply. I think that if you know a Pisces moon, you know a Pisces moon, and you know what I mean with them spacing out. You know what I mean with them being aloof. It's not that it's not emotional. It's very emotional. Everything is a very emotional process, but it's like they space out and they space into another universe, and it's a big part of their process, because they're so emotional, so empathic. They they feel everything, and they have a very spiritual core to them. They are very psychic, and all of these things causes them to also be in need of a lot of rest. They need a lot of time to recharge and not a lot of time to sleep. The good thing about this placement though is that like a Scorpio moon or Cancer moon would kind of need to go away from other people, away from a crowd to recharge, but a Pisces moon can recharge on their own or recharge with a group of people, which makes them very sociable, because the easy thing for them when it comes to recharging is just kind of they space out. They become aloof in their minds because they space out into another place, but they can still enjoy the situation that they are in with other people. But as I said before about that connection with the natural flow and the natural ebb of life, and of death and everything, the big part of that is just really for the Pisces moon to learn how to live life to its fullest. That really is the drive for the Pisces moon. It's a really important part of being a Pisces moon. Is usually you go through something in your life. Usually they struggle somewhere along it, and when they do that, they are put in a place, in a position, in a part of their life where they feel like they are not spending their time enjoying life, and they're doing things that they don't want to do, and they're in a situation that they don't want to be in, and it's all part of the process of them coming to a conclusion of what enjoying life is for them, so that they can change that and truly enjoy the time that they are here and experience an enjoyable life. They have a very ethereal and blissful way of being. They're very beautiful, whether that be outward appearance or their personality. They're very special. They're very beautiful. It's hard to explain it unless you know one. If you know a Pisces moon, I think you know what I'm talking about. Appearance-wise, they can look a bit more alien. They have a tendency to have bigger eyes, a little bit more narrow and slim faces that maybe are not that proportional to their bodies, but that makes them look very ethereal, very beautiful, in such a sense. It's hard to explain the beauty that it's like a beauty that comes from the soul. It's not the personality that's beautiful. It's just the light within them. I dated a guy. He was a Pisces moon. I talk about a lot about the people that I dated, but when it comes to moons, it is a big part of relationships because it is your emotional nature. So if you happen to get close to people emotionally, especially relationship wise, you will get to see their moons. So I have really come to understand the moons based on the people that I've dated or had close friend relationships with or family relationships with. But yeah, I dated this guy and he was a Pisces moon, and his energy was, it was very beautiful. It was hard for me to explain it to anybody, and the interesting part was that, you know, other people saw his rising signs because they didn't know his emotional nature, they didn't know his moon, and they saw him in one certain way, and they did not see that ethereal light. But also the closer people got to him, the more they got to see his ethereal light. He was very popular. That's also the thing about Pisces moon, they can be very popular because they have a really good energy. They're usually very good friends, even though they might be aloof at times. They are very good friends because they have a real understanding of other people's emotions as well as their own, and a very good understanding of the world. They are very tied to nature, to animals. They're very empathic in that way. They usually are empaths in one way or another. They can do spiritual journeys. They can do like lucid dreaming or shamanic travels. Or I'm not super into that at the moment of those different categories, so I'm not going to say that all Pisces moon can do that, but there's a tendency for them to kind of dream about things or experience things in their dreams. They are connected to a higher purpose. They have a real big tendency of their being very spiritual. Even though they may not practice it, it's natural for them. It comes natural for them emotionally. It's like another universe in their heads, in their soul that they connect to, which is a big part of who they are. They can also be easily drained. I think I mentioned that, but that's something they have to kind of look out for and find outlets and places where they can recharge, and they really need sleep. It's really important for them, so get your sleep. Get your sleep, Pisces moon. They also have a need to dream. They have a need to disconnect themselves from the world and be aloof. It's a really big emotional need for them. So don't ever beat a Pisces moon up for that. Don't ever be angry at a Pisces moon for that, because is their one of their needs to be the amazing people that they are, to be able to bring that amazing energy into the world that they are able to. It's a very beautiful placement, and I don't really have that much to say about it because it's a good placement. It's beautiful. It's really it's enjoyable. It's easy to deal with. For being a water moon, I like it, and I think that as with the other water moons, you have to learn how to truly express your emotions and be in your emotions, and don't be scared of your sensitivity or whatever, but in general you're not, because it comes so natural for you. It's not that heavy weight of it as it is for a Scorpio moon or a Cancer moon. So usually you're pretty good off, but it's very beautiful. And also, if you are dealing with a Pisces moon, as I said before, do not push on them that they have to be more realistic or have to be more on this planet or whatever, because that's not what they are meant to do. They are meant to enjoy life to the fullest by whatever standards their universal room in here are requiring. So they are very precious people to have in your life. I like them a lot. And I think also me having a square to my Neptune is both a blessing and a curse. Because I think for me, why I like Pisces moon people so much is because I have that square. It has been a curse because can be really hard to deal with squares in general, if you know anything about astrology, and I'm going to get more into synastry later on this channel. But just having that emotional nature and being able to step into that other realm, to be able to space out in an emotional sense, not an like space out and disconnect sense, is just really important, and it's kind of your purpose to spread that ethereal and blissful light that you have. There's a tendency for substance abuse, so look out for that. There's a tendency for being used by other people because you're very emotional. That tendency is always going to be there, and I think that when you find the strength in your emotions, which shouldn't be too hard for you, unless you have other placements that are quite hard for you. But as long as you find a connection to your emotions, as long as you find a way to express your emotions, an openness to other people's emotions, as long as you find room and space for recovery and for sleep and for getting back the energy that was drained, and also putting up boundaries so that other people's energies can't influence you too much, because that's why Pisces moon people need so much recharging and they need to sleep a lot, is because whenever they get into a room or get into a crowd or wherever it is, it can be very stressful for them if they don't understand it themselves, because they can read like this. They read everyone's energy in that room. They read everyone all the time. A Pisces moon, we kind of always notice if there's something wrong with you or if you're not feeling your best or whatever, even though you're trying to hide it. They're very good at noticing that, which is a very beautiful thing. I would say that my square with Neptune also has brought me that gift. So that's one of the good things about my squares. We're not going to talk about squares, but if you have a square and you're being like, oh fuck, I hate that square, it is ruining my life, there is always a lot of good points about a square. You just have to learn how to work it. Work it, twerk it. Yeah, but so that's the Pisces moon video. This is the Cancer moon video. This is the whole water moon video. It's really fun to talk about these signs. I hope I did them justice. I hope that it wasn't too long. The Scorpio moon video is linked below if you would like to see and know more about the Scorpio moon. And other moon videos are coming up. I have fire moons. They might be up before this one, not sure. If they are, I'm gonna link them as well. But then we're gonna have wind moons and earth moons, and I'm super excited. And as I said, that if you had any questions about anything, reach out to me here on Instagram. No. Reach out to me here on YouTube in just a comment below, or DM me on Instagram. I will link my Instagram below as well, and it's open for everyone, so you can just write to me there. Yeah, so that was pretty much it for this video. Thank you for listening, and thank you for checking out my videos. Like, if you want to subscribe, if you want to, then you'll always know when I upload new things, and also follow me on Instagram. I will always update there about when new things are up. So yeah, see you guys soon.